Monolith Soft has actually done it with Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition. We have a tech analysis, including the frame rate and resolution that Digital Foundry recently put out, and it shows that their prowess when it comes to creating incredible vistas and locations, and of course appealing games, is one of Nintendo's best, and it's on full display with Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition. So we're going to break down exactly what's happening there and the future and how it looks pretty bright overall. Now, shout outs to Digital Foundry, analyzed Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition, and of course Nintendo Everything. They did a roundup, but I also watched the video just to kind of catch any little things, and I wanted to point out one major thing that they were able to point out in the video that I found to be incredibly interesting and of course exciting for Monolith Soft going into the Nintendo Switch 2. So starting off here, the game uses a dynamic resolution on the Nintendo Switch, so it's going to go up to 1080p, but can dip based on what's happening on screen. More stuff on screen, more the resolution might dip in order to keep a good frame rate. Now, the average resolution is sharper than the Wii U, which was a 720p type of game, and the portable mode, if you're playing it that way, it makes it about on par with it when it comes to what's going on the Wii U, but there are some dips here and there. Now, overall, the image quality is sharper and better on the Nintendo Switch version of the game. The motion blur is ever slightly present and still there, but the distant details and the LODs and the shadow quality have all been improved, which is definitely a nice boost. Lighting is subtly different, but better at the same time, whereas shadow positions have changed to make things a bit more fluid. Character models have been greatly improved. Eye size, color, and position have all been modified. Skin shading has been improved, and the hair being updated with improved general shading. All of that combined makes more visually pleasing characters to look at that don't necessarily look as, I would say, off as maybe some of the characters did in the original Wii U game. Now, shadow qualities are higher. There's been multiple changes to the UI, which is great, which we talked about many times on this channel already with Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition, but there's still no collision detection with moving vehicles. There's still some pop-up in the main city, and the pre-rendered videos do have kind of heightened black levels, so it looks a little bit washed out on the Nintendo Switch version, but everything's still mostly a steady 30 frames per second, like stated before, with some dips here and there based on what's happening on screen, but it's good. There's no major issues overall, no Scarlet and Violet problems that we're having here at this point. Now, overall, after I watched this, there was one thing that I really found interesting when he pointed it out in terms of the visual look and what's actually pleasing to the eye compared to what's technologically possible. Now, of course, you need a system that's able to put out something, right? Improved graphics, whatever the case is, and the Switch is that over the Wii U, but artistry and how you actually do things, how things are drawn, how it's positioned, and how they actually decided to create the world is very important. One of the examples that they put in there was the fact that Halo Infinite, that is a game that overall, of course, is going to have higher resolution and graphical details and everything, but the people that put together Halo Infinite in terms of the game and the open world, if you compare that to Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition, Xenoblade X actually looks more visually pleasing because of the art design and because of how they're able to model everything. You can tell that Monolith Soft put so much time into that, and it just looks more pleasing overall, despite being on the Nintendo Switch, which is not as powerful as the Xbox Series when it comes to what Halo Infinite could do. So those are the things that I think that put Monolith Soft and with Nintendo in position to really have an incredible Switch 2 debut with various different types of games. They were able to take what they've been able to do with Xenoblade Chronicles X on the Wii U and improve it like they did here. Imagine what they're able to do with a system that's far better than what we got before. I do think that Monolith Soft is going to show us some pretty crazy stuff overall, and I'm very excited for the future when it comes down to it, because they actually did this, man, and it's incredible what they've been able to show off. And we already have that there could be a hidden 60 frames per second mode that's unlocked for Nintendo Switch 2 games with the Nintendo Switch Edition 2 games that Nintendo revealed on their site about the virtual game cards. So it looks like we're going to get some bumps and improvements to Nintendo Switch 1 games as well with the Nintendo Switch 2. So that is an exciting proposition to be had for the future of the games. But what's also exciting is for all of those that are not subscribed to go ahead and hit that subscribe button to the channel if you're enjoying the content. Also, hit that like button and click that notification bell to get my vids as soon as they drop. And let's go ahead and jump into the next topic here, a game that I'm super excited to talk about, Raidou Remastered, the mystery of the Soulless Army. Now, Atlas has confirmed Raidou Remastered: The Mystery of the Soulless Army is a remastered version of Devil Summoner Raidou Kuzunowa versus the Soulless Army. It will be officially launched on the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC via Steam. It will launch on June 19th for $49.99. Pre-orders are available now. There is a digital deluxe edition, which is available for $64.99, which comes with a bunch of cool content. Now, here's more about this game, because this is one of the games that many Atlas SMT fans have been begging for to come back, because it was a great game back when it originally launched, but now it looks like it's going to be much improved with this remastered version of the game. So, undertake the case of the century in this must-play classic from Atlus, the studio behind Shin Megami Tensei Remasters, Devil Summoner Raidou Kuzunowa versus the Soulless Army, with revamped visuals, quality of life updates, and new voiceovers, and an overhauled battle system. Here's more on the story. Taisho 20, in the capital, a young Harris approaches the Nurumi Detective Agency with a strange request to kill her. Without further explanation, the girl is kidnapped. Apprentice Detective Raidou Kuzunowa, 14, who moonlights as a devil summoner assigned to protect the capital, is on the case. Raidou investigates all across the city, which includes entering the Dark Realm, a dangerous juncture between the real world and the netherworld, where demons abound. Become Raidou Kuzunowa and work with your allied demons to unravel the mysteries that block your path. What was once a missing persons matter soon spirals into a conspiracy that will shake not only the capital, but the entire nation. Here are the key features of the game. An enhanced yet faithful remaster. The supernatural action RPG classic returns, now revamped with visual, audio, and combat enhancements for modern consoles while staying true to the original game style. A brand new user interface, full voiceovers, expanded 3D environments, and more invites both veterans and newcomers alike to a nostalgic and thrilling gameplay experience. And this is a game that I didn't get a chance to really play back in the day. Definitely saw it, maybe I think I checked that out just a little bit, but I never got to actually really play it all the way through. So this is really exciting that they're enhancing it and bringing it back. Now, a supernatural detective mystery. Channel your inner detective in a gripping supernatural adventure with a charming cast of complex characters. Uncover the truth behind collusion swirling around the capital with unexpected twists and turns ahead. Use both your mind and the might of your demons to leave no stone unturned. A fantastical Taisho era adventure. Navigate the historic streets of the fantastical 1930s era in Tokyo, or delve into the haunting dark realm where demons lie in wait. With over 120 demons to summon, choose your allies wisely to prevent humanity from being consumed by darkness. And yeah, I do like that 1930s era, kind of going back in time, but blending it with the supernatural here, with of course the demons that we know from Shin Megami Tensei, but in an action RPG. So this is a great balance to have, especially considering last year what we got from Atlus, a lot of turn-based type of combat with stuff like Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance, in addition to the blend with Metaphor Refantasio, and of course Unicorn Overlord as well, strategy RPG. But now we have a full-out action RPG detective style of game, and a remaster that people have been asking for a decade plus now at this point. So this is definitely a good thing, and I'm excited to see more. And of course, you guys know I'm going to be playing it as well. The game officially launches on June 19th, 2025, so it's not going to be too much longer now before we get the game here. So what do you guys think about Raidou Remastered? Let me know in the comment section below. But now we're going to move on to a big announcement when it comes to The Legend of Zelda. Nintendo has just announced via the Nintendo Today app that The Legend of Zelda, the live action film, will premiere on March 26, 2027. So we have about 2 years before the film is ready to be viewed and will be released. Now, the live action Legend of Zelda film with Avi Arad will premiere on March 26, 2027. Nintendo announced via its newly launched Nintendo Today app, and I think it's pretty cool. I'm watching the announcement trailer right now at this point, and I think that if they're willing to have an announcement of this size on the Nintendo Today app, this might be a little bit bigger thing than we expected. Now, I was kind of expecting, okay, it might be like the Smash Dojo back in the day where they announced like a new item, like a new coconut gun or something like that, right? Or a new little bomb from a series. And then every now and then there's some big announcements, which that still might be the case here overall. But obviously that dojo was only going to be before the lead up of the game. This is going to be every single day there's going to be something. So it's going to fluctuate in terms of what the size of the news is. But I do think since they just recently announced announced the app, I think that they wanted to have something that made a splash and got people talking, like, okay, go download the app, because you would have known about it if you had the app or anything, if you get notifications sent to your phone. And I think that it's just kind of like a cool little reminder. I think overall, kind of like, I would say, stealth marketing for Nintendo's games and everything. You can really push some pretty interesting stuff overall with that. I do like the announcement of this app, because now you have everybody talking about it. Now you have everybody thinking, oh man, I better download this app because I could miss out on some news, or I'll have to wait before someone else talks about it, or whatever the case is. So definitely I think this app is going to play an interesting part in how things are reported on, and which I talked about actually in my video. I said the Nintendo Switch app, I think it's actually pretty cool, and it can be worked into news blogs for many people who talk about gaming, just like we're doing right now, or even live streams. So I do think that, once again, mission accomplished at this point so far when it comes to what this app can do overall and what they're going to do with the app, which is announce some pretty cool news. Sometimes it'll be probably smaller news, other times it might be big news like this. And I'm thinking that around the time that maybe when things are slow, that's when they reveal some type of big announcement. Maybe they have, okay, we're making a Metroid movie or something like that, right? It'll probably be announced through this app. That might be how they do it, instead of maybe working it into Nintendo Directs with an announcement. I mean, I still think that's a possibility depending on what they're going to do with their Nintendo Directs. But yeah, I think that having it like this, or even with stuff that's already been announced and having big information on that, that might be where Nintendo today really shines overall, is new information, or maybe even like this is the first look that we have more of an overview of a certain game that came out. So excited for the possibilities, and once again, I think it's pretty cool. I got to go download the app myself. All right, for the last topic here, guys, we're going to discuss Atelier Yumia, the Alchemist of Memories and the Envisioned Land, because we have a brand new record with how well this game has done. So total shipments and digital sales for Atelier Yumia, the Alchemist of Memories and the Envisioned Land, have surpassed 300,000 units. Publisher Koei Tecmo and developer Gust have announced. That does make it the fastest selling entry in the series to achieve the milestone. So the interesting thing about this is that they really took extra time, money, and effort to put into this game to achieve just this. They wanted a greater chunk of sales from the beginning. Now, of course, production costs have went up compared to what they did before in the past, but now you're seeing the results of that. And remember, this game's also more expensive on PlayStation 5, being a $70 game if you want it. So revenue-wise, they're making more too as well. Now, I've played Atelier Yumia on the Nintendo Switch, and I've played it on the PlayStation 5, and there was just so many games coming out at the same time, so I was able to put about 10 to 15 hours or so into Atelier Yumia, and it's fantastic. It's definitely the best Atelier game that I've played, and I love the Ryza trilogy of games, but this Atelier game has so many cool features built into it, how you do like the alchemy, how you can do like the auto stuff, which has been in games before, but I think it's really well done here. But the combat system is fantastic, blending some really cool like cooldowns and kind of like Xenoblade, and sometimes even with some of the open world stuff, not quite as detailed and good as Xenoblade when it comes down to how they do the open world, but still very nice, an improvement over what they've done with the Atelier games and pretty much any other Atelier game out there. So I really enjoy Atelier Yumia, and I'm really happy that it was able to sell what it's done so far. Looks like this could be a $1 million+ seller. Not sure if they've had any Atelier game that has broken $1 million+ in terms of quickly broken that, but this could be the game, especially once you get later into the year when you get some discounts and everything, and they patch up that Switch version of the game, which apparently is still selling well despite it being a bit rough overall, which they have pledged that they are going to do some patches for it. I do think once you have the patched up version, in addition to having some discounts and sales, this could be $1 million+ selling game overall. And of course, I'm looking forward to seeing the future of it, because we saw what Atelier Ryza was able to do and have a trilogy. I'm pretty sure they're already drawing up the next thing for Yumia and the crew. So what do you guys think overall when it comes to all the topics here that we went over, from Xenoblade Chronicles to Raidou Remastered, the Legend of Zelda movie, and of course Atelier? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and check out my other Nintendo Switch, RPG videos, and more right here on screen. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.